Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good everything. My name is Jason Weiss. I am your host of the Ask Jason Weiss show. I am an attorney. I am a coach. I am a consultant. I am happy to say I am currently a book writer, which we'll talk about on another show. That is not today. And I do want to say that whatever is discussed today is not an attorney-client position. We do not have a relationship. I thank you for all of my viewers that listen and participate, but nothing here is legal advice. Should you need legal or financial advice, consult an attorney directly. Only listen to our banter and our rhetoric here, but do not take anything we say as legal advice because it's not legal advice. So today, I am very excited to say that I have Mark Lewis here with me, and he is my elite guest. He is an author, and Mark gives a damn. And Mark will explain a little bit more about what we mean by give a damn, but he does. Spoken to Mark a couple of times, did my research on him, and you know this guy is an author. He is a speaker. He is an entrepreneur. And he is somebody that if you don't know who he is, hopefully by the end of this show, you will, and you'll want to work with Mark. So without further ado, Mark Lewis, the floor is yours to promote yourself a little bit, and then we'll get into the hard part of the show.
Thanks a lot, Jason. You know, I'm not really big on promoting myself, to be honest with you. I'm kind of one of the guys, the regular guys that are out there. But, you know, I really appreciate you having me on. I'm very passionate about the book that I've published, and I'm also passionate about some of the work that we're doing to help society be better than it is today. And part of the reason why I both wrote the book, and if you told me 10 years ago I was going to write a book, I would have said, you're crazy. I'm not a writer. I never liked English, but something happened in the environment that I couldn't get a good grasp on. It was bothersome. And so I started recording everything I saw. Next thing I know, I had all this day, and I said, well, I got all this day, and I guess I should write a book. That's kind of what prompted me to go forward to write this book. And it was really based on what I've seen for like when I was growing up 50 years ago to where we are today, and how society has transformed from a selfless society to more a selfish and ego-driven society. And I thought that was hurting our society, and we need to make people aware of it and how we can change that to make it a better society.
And I can't say more that I feel like it's the society today is more like what's in it for me and how fast can you do it? Not what can I do to help you, or you know when can I expect it? It's kind of like because of things like this, right. We all expect everything immediate. Like, hey, or can you give me a call? I can't. I'm in a meeting. Well, can you text me? I can't. I'm in a meeting. Well, can you send me a voice message? Like, we have these things right here that people expect it right then and there.
You're right, Jason. And one of the biggest problems, and I've identified 9 areas that have caused us to be where we are today. And you hit the nail on the head. Everybody thinks, not everybody, because there's exceptions to the rule, but we've become what's in it for me society, and technology has led that down that road. And you make a really good point. Technology has allowed us to communicate more and faster, but the quality of that communication has been vastly degraded because we don't have that face-to-face interaction. We don't see people non-verbally and what kind of reactions they're having. So we have to interpret all these messages, whether it's an email or whether it's a text message or whatever it may be. We interpret those, and a lot of times we make bad assumptions. I have a term that I use when I run my CEO roundtables. It's called assumicide. A lot of assumptions are made, and they're really not always true, and they can be very detrimental to people and how they think and how they act towards others. And that's a big problem. And the technology is great because we can communicate more often, but the degradation, the quality of that communication is significantly deteriorated than it used to be.
I have so many things that I can say, but one or two I've got it. So my son's a lacrosse player. He's a 16-year-old kid. And every time I see him, he's doing this. He's like,
Right.
and he's walking, he's getting in the car, he's doing it all. He's getting off the lacrosse field. He's doing this. And I was ready to say something to him. And then I watched 3 or 4 other of his teammates, and it's identical. They're all like zombies. They walk the second they get off the field and take off their helmet and they put on their slides or their Crocs. That's it. It's on the phone immediately. And then I'll say to him, like, hey, did you speak to mom? I texted her. Well, did you speak to mom?
Right.
But I texted her. You do know these things right here. They have a feature that's a phone, and you can actually pick up and make a phone call. Someone wants to hear your voice. During COVID, I do have a couple of clients that are older. I would call the ones that I thought didn't have people around all the time, and I would pick one a day. Just call. Hey, Steve, just calling to see how you're doing. Thanks, Jason. Blah, blah, blah. How's life? How's this? How's that? 10-minute phone call. Made 10 minutes of my day. I did it from the car. I did it in between meetings. I did it, sitting in an airport. Killed time for me, made me feel good. But I got more. They remember. Those clients remember. Jason called me once a week during COVID to check on me.
That's a really good point, because we use these devices as a form of interaction without any type of communication. Now, the reason why kids like that get on Facebook or Instagram, or they look at the news, is because it's sensationalized. And one of the problems today is, when we think about media and what we learned from TV programs early on when we were kids growing up, we had Father's Knows Best, Brady Bunch, we had the Andy Griffith shows. They all taught a lesson. Now, what you see on TV is, here come the Kardashians, all this rude and crude behavior, and it's supposed to be cool. It's supposed to be funny, but we've almost kind of adapted ourselves to accept that. Whereas years ago, we wouldn't accept that kind of behavior. And so these kids are learning these things that are supposed to be funny and cool, but they're not what I call driven to provide morals and values and those kind of things that make us better people than we should be today. I mean, we have to be cognizant of what we can do to help serve other people. And I think that's what's lost when you think about what's in it for me, the situation and what people are thinking. They're not thinking about what they can do for other people. And when you think about it, what you do to help other people really is a positive effect on what it does to you and your body and your health, to be honest with you.
So I was at a seminar yesterday, and one of the things that they said is when you do something for someone or give something to someone, they might remember it, right? But what they're going to remember is how you made them feel. When I called, and I'm going to just use the name Steve, when I called Steve during COVID once a week, he loved it. He felt great. I felt his energy on the other side of the phone. And he asked us what we talked about. Neither one of us remember. But I remember hearing the happiness and the caring in his voice. And he remembers feeling cared for, welcome, wanted. And that's huge.
It is. You've made such a great point. It is huge. So when you can do something like what you've done, it creates a level within the human body of comfort, happiness. When I do these speeches, I do a lot of motivational speeches. I go, okay, I want you to answer this question. What do you think the greatest disease is in today's society? And nobody ever gets it. And my answer to that is stress, because stress leads to all the other medical issues. Typically, most of the time, it can contribute to some of the medical issues we have today. And how do you relieve stress? You relieve stress by what you're doing is making someone feel good and feel happy. Internally, that has a huge effect on your body. Not only your body, but the body of the person that you're talking to. It's big. The attitude of gratitude, thanking somebody, going out of your way and say, hey, thanks for doing what, because a lot of people don't do it. It's like I opened up a door for a lady the other day, and I was close. She goes, I could do that. I said, well, no, I was just trying to be nice. Instead of walking through the door, people don't ever say thank you. It's just something that people are not getting. And I'm trying to get people to realize, because when you show gratitude, when you do things for other people, it only affects them, but it also affects you personally. It reduces your stress. And that's the kind of message that I'm trying to get past.
I was standing at a Starbucks with my son. We were in New York City, and there was a woman that was taking, I guess, the big garbage can out. My son was standing, and I guess he could see out of the corner of his eye that the woman was coming with this big pail on wheels. And my son's a big kid. He's like 6'3", 215. And he literally like puts his arm behind him and pulls the door open and holds it open for the woman. She goes out. She says, thanks. He says, no problem. She goes. He sees her coming back. This time he faces the door, pulls the door open. She's like, thank you. Manager comes up to us. Now, I thought we did something wrong because we went out to the hot dog cart out in front and we got some hot dogs. What's better than hot dogs and coffee for breakfast, right? So we're sitting there, we're eating the hot dogs, and the manager comes over, and I'm immediately like, hey, look, we ordered coffee. We just wanted to eat the hot dogs and use your ledge. Like, he's like, oh, no, I don't care. Go ahead. You know, you're customers. And even if you weren't, he's like, I watched what this young man did for, so-and-so with the garbage can. And he's like, we take that garbage out probably 3-4 times an hour in this store. So we probably take out garbage 20 to 25 times a day. He's like, I can't remember the last time someone opened the door. He's like,
you're right.
He's like, can I give you guys something? I'm like, no, like, we don't want anything. He's like, at least take cookies. I'm like, okay, thank you. But people don't do that. They don't. It blows my mind.
You're right, Jason. It's not ingrained into their psyche because, when you and I were growing up, we had that example from our parents, I think. And that example is getting lost more and more in terms of chivalry things that we used to do as males. You rarely see anybody open a car door for a female anymore. They get in themselves. It's those kind of things that improve the quality of a person's life. And I can't emphasize this more. When you do something like that and it makes people feel good, it makes you feel good. And when they appreciate you, it makes you feel better that you're doing the right things to help people. Jason, I ask this question all the time. Why are you here? Why are you born? Why did God put you on this earth? And 99 out of 100 times, people can't answer that question. And so my answer to that question is God or mentor, however I got here. The reason I'm on this earth is because I'm here to serve other people. And by serving other people, I serve myself. People don't get that. They get it in reverse. They have to figure out, I got to do this because it's to my benefit, not to the benefit of others. And by getting that reverse is what's caused our society to degrade. And that's the message I'm trying to get out. And by doing all that stuff, you live longer, you have a healthier life, you're happier. I mean, everything is a positive. And that's the message when I say, give a damn. And that's why, I wear this thing right here. Can you see it?
Give a damn. There you go. Love it.
I wear this bracelet because a lot of times we forget. And I have this bracelet on all the time. Now, I'm so much better than I was many years ago, but it changes hard. It's like I tell people, brush your teeth with your opposite hand or walk backwards to your car.
Yeah.
Change is very difficult. You start doing the change and then it gets difficult. So how do we get this ingrained in this message? I wear this bracelet. I wrote the book, Give a Damn, so people could read it and get the message because I'm trying to improve the quality of their lives and help them live longer. It's just so easy, but it's hard, to be honest.
And people can, and I'm going to plug it. People can find your book on Amazon, online, on your website. Where can they find it?
Yeah. So they can go to Amazon. They can go to my website. They can email me at mlewis@marklewisllc.com. they can order the book. There's just a variety of ways. I'm happy to give people my phone number or just my email address if they want help, if they want to get to be where they can live a happier and healthier life. And all these people, see all these shootings and all that. Well, it's because the people don't have a purpose in life, because they don't feel like they're worthy anything. So they got to do something dramatic to feel like they're worthy of something. We got to be able to change that. And I'm so passionate.
And one of the things that you touched on, and I'm going to comment on, is, I have a friend, I'm an attorney. I have a friend who is leaving the practice of law at his firm, and he is starting his own firm. And I've done it, and I help attorneys start their own firms. And this is a guy that I know 20, 30 years.
Sure.
And I was so happy for him, and we chatted, and I said to him, look, I want to help you. If it's how you can bank, where you should get your billing software, what you should do, all this, all that. And I spent like a good 40 minutes with him on the phone. And I ended it by saying, look, here's the deal. I charge people to do this, but I want to help you.
Right.
I'm not looking for a nickel. So, and I thought to myself, like, so I'm going to tell you what, we're both going to win by this.
Sure.
Look at me. I'm like, you're going to win because I'm going to help you, and I'm going to do this, and you're just starting, and I get it. And I'm going to win because all I'm going to ask you to do is just say thank you. You want to say thank you publicly on an Instagram site or on a comment that I do from LinkedIn. Like, I worked with Jason, and it was awesome. Great. That's all I want. So now we both get. So now don't feel like you can't pick up the phone and call me or email me, or I feel bad because he gave me. No. Now you have that open because you've got skin in the game. And right. I say that even with clients. One of my coaching clients is trying to get into law school. My coaching clients, they charge a fair price, but I gifted this guy a scholarship. Of nothing? No. Of a little amount that probably won't make much of a difference in my life and probably won't hurt him financially, but something where he feels like he has a little skin in the game, even if it's $50 a week.
Sure.
Something. Because he can afford $50 a week.
Right.
But it also means that if it's $50 a week on Jason, I'm going to show up as opposed to 10 cups of Starbucks coffee.
Right. Well, what I'm hearing from you is that you wanted to help this person. He was young. You had the experience. You wanted him to be, or her to be, successful. And the end result here is you did this without any expectation in return.
Yep.
And most people, when they do things, expect something in return. And that's the fallacy. It will come back to you in droves. Don't expect it, but it will come. It's just the natural way things happen in life. And so people need to get away from the attitude as if I'm going to do this, I expect this to happen in return, or I expect this person to do something. You can't do that. It'll come.
My son had one of his lacrosse buddies over recently, and they were at the pool, and they got soaked in the rain, and my son went to his friend like, hey, grab a dry shirt out of my closet. And the kid went up to the closet, and he was looking around, and I overheard it, and I kind of stuck my head in, and I gave him a shirt like this with the heart on it because it's, right. It's my son's charity, and I handed it to him. I'm like, here you go. Here's the shirt. Kid leaves. So I go to my son. I'm like, you gave him the opportunity to pick any shirt in your closet. What would have happened if he would have picked your favorite shirt or favorite shirts? He goes, I'm sure he would have just washed it and given it back. I'm like, and what happens when he doesn't? I said, now, we gave him one of these shirts. We have 50 of them sitting in the closet because, we sell them, we donate them, we do whatever. If you don't get that back, do you care? No, he can have it. I said, exactly. So when you do something for someone, a shirt, a loan, money, don't have the expectation, even if they promise that you're going to get it back. If you give it to them and you can say to yourself, I can live without it and it's going to do that person, then do it. But don't give something that I need it back.
Right. Well, it's the expectation, and so, I mean, that was the right thing to do. It's a lot of people, the thought came to me about doing what's right and what's wrong. A lot of people do the wrong thing because they can justify it in their mind as being right. For example, you're going down the highway and you just bought fast food. It's okay to throw it out the window because there are state workers who will pick it up. Well, that's not the right attitude, because you wouldn't throw that garbage in the middle of your living room, would you? No, because you can internalize something that affects you, and therefore you do something about. So I was walking across the street going to my office one day, and I saw this rusty nail that was in the middle of the highway there. So I picked it up. Most people wouldn't pick it up, but if it was in the middle of your driveway, what would you do? You would pick it up because you can internalize something. We have to learn how to internalize things that happen to us to other people and do the same thing. My thought was, well, a young lady could come down the road and have a kid in the back of their car. They get this rusty nail in their tire. They go down a highway and have a blowout. Major action could happen. I didn't want that to happen to them. So that was my thought process. I was thinking about other people and what kind of effect it had. We have to internalize both internally and externally as if we were there. We were doing it. It was happening to us.
Yep. So what's going to do to us and what's going to happen to us is we're going to thank sponsors by letting them run a commercial real quick. Our microphones will be muted. Our cameras will still be on. So if you're going to take a drink, go for it. If you need to scratch your face, you'll be on camera, but everything is good. And guys, ladies, men, dogs, cats, no cats, everybody else on the planet. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, and we're going to talk more about Mark's book, Give a Damn, and his 9 concepts that he touches in there. So we'll be back in about 2 minutes, and CC, take it away for commercial.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory. And you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business show showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact GoingSoloDirectory.com.
I just wanted to thank Barry Kogert, our sponsor for the show today, founder of Jazz Angels, which preserves jazz in underserved areas. He's helped over 3,000 kids. Thank you, Barry. And if you want to contact and find out more info, you can check their website at jazzangels.org or contact Barry directly at barry@jazzangels.org. Thanks so much, Barry.
We are back. I am Jason Weiss. I am your host. I am honored, thrilled, and excited to have Mark Lewis here with me today. And before I we go and talk about Mark's book a little bit more. Although I am an attorney, nothing here is legal advice. Nothing should be relied upon. There is no attorney-client privilege. If you need legal advice or have legal questions, contact an attorney directly. I'd be more than happy to chat with you. So, giving a damn. That's what Mark is all about. And he touched on his book and showed us the great cover of the book. So, Mark, you mentioned that you had like 9 concepts or 9 whatever, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. So tell us about giving a damn.
Well, first of all, I want to let people know that Going Solo Network is terrific. See, I'm part of that network, and I just want to let everybody know it's a great organization. And if you can be part of it, I would highly recommend it. But thanks again, Jason, for having me. You know, when I went through this whole process of trying to identify where we are as a society, what's caused those things to happen, the 9 areas, and I'm probably not going to remember them all, but one was technology, one was actually religion as being one, education being another one, wealth being another one. The government is obviously, I think, a big proponent of what I call entitlements. You know, what government's been so polarized, they don't work together. There's no camaraderie going back and forth, although they may tell you otherwise. There's teamwork. There's a lot of things that are involved with that. And I think these are all working intertwined together to cause our society to be more self-centered and selfish. And so I'm trying to figure out and trying to do what I can to identify these areas and where people can look at these and say, yeah, I can do better at what I'm doing right now.
And I think people need to do it because they want to, not because they're forced to. I hear, go out and do something for someone every day or do 2 good deeds. If you feel like, all right, I did one good thing today, I got to go do another one. Like that's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like, hey, I did 2 things for 2 people today.
Right.
I want to do more. It makes me feel good. Not, oh, I can't help you because I already did my 2 things for today. No, like that defeats the whole purpose. You want to do 1 good thing a month? Great. You want to do, 10 good things a day? Great. In the Jewish religion, we have Yom Kippur. And Yom Kippur is basically like you're asking for forgiveness for all the bad things that you've done, and you want a clean slate and a clean book. And I have a friend who couldn't make it to temple, couldn't do whatever. And I said to him, I said, look, you should go to temple because it's a sign of respect. But if you can't, think about how you are the other 364 days a year. Are you a good person? Are you happy with it? Yeah. Okay. I think God or whoever you believe in will forgive you for not making it to temple for the day.
Right.
They're going to look at the whole picture.
I think it really boils down to being more aware of your actions and what kind of effect they have on people, because we kind of just go and don't even think. And that's a problem in my eyes, because they just do things without thinking what effect it might have on other people. And it's also what effect it might have in terms of they've created an ego where they have to win. And winning is not always the way it should be. People, and I always say, what's the upside of having an argument and getting really upset at somebody? There's no upside to it. And it's also it's detrimental. What people don't realize is the more you give a damn, the better your quality of life is.
Yeah.
In all respects, you improve other people's lives and you improve your own life. And who doesn't want to live longer? It's like, for instance, Ohio State did this study on religion. And what they found is the people who are religious are going to live about 4 years longer than people who are not religious. And why is that? What causes that? I think it's because we have something that we can gravitate to that gives us comfort. It gives us a feeling. And therefore, I have less stress. I have less high blood pressure. I have all these things that can contribute. When you get really angry, your blood pressure goes up. If you continue to be angry, you're going to have high blood pressure. All these things that in combination, and I would think people would want to live longer and have a better quality of life. And that's why I created the theme, Give a Damn. And it's harsh. A lot of people think, well, damn's not a good word to use. I said, well, I'm trying to get people's attention. At the same time, a young kid came up to me and says, damn's not a good word. And I go, I prayed about this. I asked God and I asked my deceased mom, who had died 6 years earlier, of what she thought of the word, the title, Give a Damn. And my answer was, I'm not using that in vain. I'm using it to get a point across. And I'm using it to be a positive influence on people. And the word I got was, yeah, you can go and use that because you're not using it in a negative way, using it in a positive way.
So it's funny. The book that I'm writing, it's called Shit They Never Taught You in Law School. So I've got the first word on there, and give a damn isn't bad. It's better than give a shit, so that would be good. But one of my chapters is, what would your priest, rabbi, or mother say? And this was brought to me from an attorney friend of mine when I was going through a moral dilemma with an employee I had working for me, and how to exit that person. And I went above and beyond, like paid for extra time, did all this and did all that. My friend turned to me and he goes, Jason, if you spoke to your rabbi and told the rabbi the story, what would he say? He said, the rabbi would tell me I did everything I should do. Right. He goes, then there's your answer. So same thing. You said to your mother and God, and you prayed, can I use damn? Yes. You could use any word you want. Look, you can't please everyone all the time.
Correct.
Well, someone might say, give a damn. Why do you have an N at the end? Why, well, that's how it's spelled, but I don't like the word damn. Well, I don't give a hoot. How's that? You can't prove everybody. And then the PETA, hoot, that refers to an owl. And now you can't,
right.
You can't please everyone all the time. But if you can go to someone you trust, someone you admire, someone that you care what they think, and say, this is what I did, and they're going to say, you did great, then keep going.
You bring up a good point that reminded me of how people should maybe think. And I have this slide that when I do my Give a Damn presentation, there's a picture of a mom right there. And I ask people, what would you do if you always knew your mom or significant other or mentor was watching you? Would you do things differently? And most people would say, yeah, I don't want to upset mom. I don't want to, do these kind of things. Well, that means you need to know that you know what the right thing is. Don't justify in doing the wrong thing. Ask your mom or ask God what's the right thing to do, and then do it. Because most people know what the right thing is. They just don't do it.
And that's the problem. And like you said, most people these days, you talked about the nail in the street.
Yeah.
If I saw a nail in the street or a screw in the street, I'm like you, Mark. I pick it up. Why? Because if I don't pick it up, I'm going to be driving that route at some point, and it's going to land in my tire. And so, there's the selfishness. But I pick it up. I throw it in the garbage can. I don't want somebody getting stuck. I don't want me getting stuck. So you can always, and the same thing applies where I watched a car on the highway the other day cut across 4 lanes so they wouldn't miss their exit. And 2 cars had to slam on their brakes so much that the smoke from coming out from the tires. But hey, that person didn't miss their exit instead of going to the next one. That's all that matters. And that's what our society seems to be about these days. And I'm sure someone posted it on Instagram, like, check out this person.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
It's mind-blowing.
So the part of what I'm trying to do is create a movement, a Give a Damn movement. And actually, what I've gone on my website, you go to my website, Mark Lewis LLC, or giveadamnbook.com, and take what I call the Global Citizens Accountability Pledge. And that accountability pledge basically says, I will do the right thing. I'll be respectful. I'll be kind. It's almost like what do you call it, that political thing where they has whereas this and whereas this, or it's a legal document, whereas this kind of thing, and people sign it. And I want people to sign it and go online and do that. And that gives a little slight commitment that they're going to do the right thing. But you got to be continually reminded to be able to change your thinking. Now, how do we change people's thinking? It's hard from the adult standpoint. That's why my wife and I are actually creating a book series for children from kindergarten to 4th grade. And we're calling this book, it's called Camilla the Cuttlefish. You know what a cuttlefish is? It's kind of a squid family, and it's got 8 arms and 2 tentacles. And so we're going to create Camilla the Cuttlefish Makes a Splash. And we're trying to teach kids at a very early age, because I don't think they're getting it in school or even at home, we're going to focus on a particular word of why it means to be kind, or what it means to be accountable, doing the right thing, and all those series of books. And we're coming out with the first one probably within the next 60 days about this cuttlefish that was born. They had all these other cuttlefish. They took off. One was a little bit, didn't look like the other ones, and he was scared and left behind. They didn't feel like they fit in, but the mother concluded that go out and help serve the world. And the cuttlefish went out there, did all the right things, came back home, and was so happy. It made a big difference in people's lives. And that's kind of what we're trying to get the message across at a very early age. That's how we change society over time.
And that's what it is. And look, you're starting, at least book number 2, book number 1. And when I was looking away for a second, you can go get it on Amazon, $16.
Yes.
It's doable. It's the price of, 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks or whatever. And go read the pledge. Go take this. Give a damn. Try to effectuate change. Try to, make the world a better place. Whatever your message is.
Right. And I if they want to go to my website and order the book, I'll send them a signed copy.
Oh, there you go.
And I'll give them one of these bracelets that come with it.
So go to marklewisllc.com. Go get it there.
Go under the book, and sign it. Then if people want me to come, I've made a significant difference in organizations and associations by giving this presentation and give this book to all their employees. And it's had a really dramatic effect on the culture of an organization in terms of what they do to help grow the business. And that, culture within an organization is far more important than the skill level. Culture is far more important because you can teach anybody anything, a skill. And that's why if you can improve a company culture, and I go through this through my CEO roundtables that I manage and help people grow their business, I get tremendous satisfaction out, because when they start in month 1 and after month 12, they see such a big difference in what they're doing. I get so much satisfaction out of that I've made a difference in people's lives. So I'm willing to go do presentations into companies and provide this to other organizations to help them with their culture.
And let's see the cover of that book one more time, because it's pretty cool. And you could go get it for, I think, the same price as on Amazon. As go to marklewisllc.com, go get it. He'll sign it and he'll send you a bracelet. So it's worth it.
And I'll pay for shipping and everything, so it's no big deal. Jason, it's a passion of mine. I'm not a Brad Pitt of the world or a famous whatever, but I'm just a guy that's trying to make a difference. They say people who are crazy enough to change the world are usually the ones who do. Oh, maybe I could be that person that could be crazy enough to help change the world through the book. It's funny about this. I'll tell you a story about this. When I had my book, I sent an email to 525 people in Congress. There's 100 in the Senate and 425 plus the president. I sent each and every one of them, because I had their email address on their website, and I tell them, hey, I got this thing. This is what we need to do in government. You know how many responses I got?
0.
You got it. And guess what? They also added me to their email list. I get these hundreds of emails now that I had to unsubscribe from, because as soon as they saw it, they saw I'm going to add him to my list so I can tell them all about the political stuff. I'd love to go up to Congress and just give everybody a free book and tell them to read it.
And they probably won't. And you could send it to them on the Kindle or whatever, and they probably won't listen either.
They won't do it. Yeah. That organization, the government, is so selfish. It's all about me, what my next election would be. How can I get elected? We need term limits.
we've turned into a society that is a me first.
And ego, me
so
first.
So I'll tell you, and it's funny. I was at an event this weekend with my son. It's called Lacrosse Masters. I want to shout out to Tim at Lacrosse Masters for putting on a phenomenal event. We had such a good time in all of this, and there were 4 Ivy League coaches standing there for lacrosse, and my son knows one of them on a kind of a first name basis, and he knows my son. And I go to my son, I said, Logan, I want you to go up to that group of 4 right there. And he's like, Dad, you don't have to say any more. I know what you want me to do. I know 3 of the coaches, and the 4th one I don't know. Correct. And what are you going to do? I'm going to say hi to the 3 I know, and I'm going to extend and introduce myself to the 4th one. I said, good. And what are you going to do? I'm going to shake their hands. If they want fist bumps, I'll do fist bumps, whatever they want, but I'm going to put my hand out to shake. Great. He walks up. I saw him go, hey, to one of the coaches, one of the other coaches. He did this. The coach he didn't know, he put his hand out, and I could assume he said, I'm Logan. Nice to meet you. And the other one, he gave like one of these things too, because that he's friendly with. And I watched, and they spoke for 30 seconds, and then my son went his way, and they had their own meeting. I sat and watched those 4 coaches for 30 minutes until they walked onto the field. Not one player or parent went up to the coaches and said a word. One person introduced himself. And these are the coaches you want to play for the next 4 years.
Right.
And you're not going to go say hello or introduce yourself. Like, I understand pre-September 1, they're not allowed to talk. That's an NCAA rule. But there were 50 men or boys or young men, whatever, there.
Yeah.
So with that being said, just go out, be yourself, try to help other people, do all that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to help Cece because we got to wrap up. But before we do that, I have one quick question. I always say my hardest question, it's usually a movie, a this, or that. So other than reading Give a Damn, is there another book that you would recommend to readers, something that you enjoyed? I don't care if it's Moby Dick or, Charlotte's Web. Is there a book that you've enjoyed reading that you said, boy, I'm glad I read that?
Well, one book that comes to mind is the book Good to Great. And I can't remember who the author was. I've listened to it before, but it really hones in. There's a lot of books, The One Thing, Good to Great. But I like that book because it emphasizes a lot of the things about being that are in my book, Give a Damn. But it emphasizes how can I get to be a medium, average person to be great at what I do, and what kind of greatness do I need to portray as a leader that can have an effect on other people.
So Good to Great, I think it's by James C. Collins. You can go get it. But when you go to marklewisllc.com, get that book first. And when you enjoy it and want to read more, then you can go get Good to Great. So start with marklewisllc.com. Go get your book. He's going to sign it. And he said he'll throw in a phenomenal bracelet. As you see, I'm a fan. So my book is already being ordered. So I'm very excited. I can't wait to read it. And Mark, I thank you so much for being on the show. But for more importantly, just being the person you are and trying to just.
Well, Jason, you and I are making a difference. We just need about 300 billion more people to do it.
Well, we got a long way to go, but
I know.
I'm up to the challenge.
Look, I have a statement. Individually, you make a difference. Collectively, we change the world. And that's what we're trying to do together. So I really appreciate what you and CC are doing. Thank you for having me on your show. We'll stay in touch, obviously. If I can help you with your book in any way, just let me know, because it's not easy writing a book.
Thank you. CC, thank you for making this awesome. Thank you for giving us the extra minute or two to talk. I apologize for going over. Thank you all. I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Mark, such a pleasure, and I can't wait to read your book.
Thank you, sir. Jason, take care.
Take care.
You bet. Bye-bye.